Picture this. A midwinter day in the heart of the Midwest. As cold and as crisp as it gets. The roads are slick with ice. Now imagine you're sitting in a car, your hands on the wheel and your foot on the brake, as you approach an unprotected railroad crossing while a freight train rumbles past. And as you press harder on the brake, the car slowly inches forward, ignoring it totally. And as you look down, you see the last car on the train coming your way. And by your instant calculations, you realize that you have a chance for that car to go past before running into it. Now, unfortunately, physics has a way of distorting our plans. And yes, the car would miss the train, but not the railing that hung off the caboose, which hooked the car and threw it into a field. And so the next minute, you're sitting there with your hand on the wheel and your foot on the brake in the middle of a field. In that instance, your world shatters. So what do you do when your world shatters? If you're my father, you get out of the car, you pick up your son, and you begin hitchhiking home, where you slip on the ice and break your leg, which is the only injury of this entire accident. But what do you do if you're a 6-year-old in the backseat of a car, not really aware of what's going on, when all of a sudden the entire world goes flying past in an instant, and the next thing you know, you hear a huge crash, and your world shatters, like the back window of the car. So you crawl out that shattered window, and you get picked up by your dad. And the only impact are bumps and bruises, and a slight scratch on your cheek, or a shard of glass from the windshield was standing. But that's not the only impact. Because from then on, I never know when all of a sudden the world is going to go flying past and it will shatter in an instant. Now, most of the time, this doesn't happen. I go on, go through school, get married, and then my world shatters again. Only in a good way. For 9 months, we've been expecting our first child. And 9 months ago, I did my job. So there's nothing more for me to do here. My job is done. But no, we took the Lamaze classes, and we had the he's and the who's and the breathing and the ice and the pushing and the shoving and the contractions. But nothing could compare with the way that my world shattered when I saw my firstborn son enter this world. There is nothing that I could have done that would have prepared me for the emotions, for the love that I felt in that instant, even though I'd been preparing for it for many months. So what do you do when your world shatters like that? It goes from a time of spontaneity, a time of devil-may-care, a time when I could do whatever I wanted, to days of dirty diapers, coughing, ear infections, whining, PTA meetings, school meetings, one after the other, play dates, life, but an entirely different life. Until one day, I'm sitting in the office, and my world shatters again. When I hear the doctor say, "Arnie, I didn't think it was anything." But this is very aggressive cancer you've got. What do you do when your world shatters like that? Is it as if I didn't know that I'm mortal? It's as if I didn't know and really understand that someday this will end? When it becomes so concrete, it's like your world shatters. It's like the last car on the train that you see coming. And that last car is going to be the end. So what do? You have the treatments. You have the surgery. It's been over 10 years, and I'm cancer-free. But my world has never been the same. Because on that day when it shattered, I became intimately aware of my own mortality. And so it is with you. Your world may not shatter in those ways, but someday your world will shatter. So what will you do when your world shatters? You have a choice. You can lie in the field, or you can pick yourself up and you can carry on. You can live your life every day to the fullest. You can take each moment and savor every drop. So when your life shatters, I pray that you put the pieces together, as I have, to create a whole new world and a whole new life until the last train on the car comes. Mr. Toastmaster.